So the objective of CBTI is to stop you obsessing and controlling your sleep. Yet by its very nature, by being on a sleep program, you're being asked to focus on your sleep and therefore obsess and control your sleep. So isn't that a bit of a paradox? Because how can you achieve both? And the answer is yes, CBTI does in its initial instance get you to focus on your sleep, but it is only a stepping stone to the eventual goal of complete detachment and removal from it. So think of it like stabilizers on a bike. When you're helping a 6-year-old learn a bike for the first time, you don't just chuck them down a hill and think that they'll be all right. You need to give them that structure. You need to give them that support. You need to build their confidence. You need to build their ability to actually cycle before you allow them to go off by themselves. So you have to stabilize them on the bike first. You hold on to the back of them first. You have them on the flat first. And then as they start cycling better and getting their confidence up, that's when they transition away from all this support and all this structure. And that is essentially what CBTI is. It is the stepping stone in the middle. So people with insomnia, they've got so used to controlling their sleep, obsessing about their sleep, worrying about their sleep. They've got 1,001 things they're doing in order to try and make themselves sleep. They've got 1,001 things they're doing in order to try and protect their sleep. What if you've had insomnia for 10 years and you're so used to doing that, to go from obsession, control, fear, worry to nothing, to acceptance, is just too big a leap. So what CBTI does, it says, right, all of this stuff that you're doing over there, pick it up, put it in the bin. I'm just going to give you, in the initial instance, 3 really simple things that you can start doing to replace all this other nonsense that doesn't work. 3 evidence-based, scientifically proven things which actually do work. They're going to build your sleep drive, they're going to reset your body clock, and they will actually help you sleep. So you start doing them. Things like bedtime restriction, where you reduce your opportunity to sleep, so you spend less time in bed getting anxious, getting stressed, getting worried. I'm going to queue up a load of videos in the description if you want to learn how to actually do these. Counter or stimulus control: if you're anxious and stressed and worried in bed, you leave the bed in the bedroom. Getting stuck back into your days again to prove to your brain that you're not going to allow insomnia to push you around. Just these really simple things in the first initial stage of CBTI to replace all these 1,001 other nonsense things which don't work. Once you've done that, once you've proven to yourself that you can sleep, once you've proven to yourself that there's nothing wrong with you, once when you're doing these behaviors that CBTI outline, you realize that, oh my goodness, for the first time in 10 years, I actually feel sleepy. Or for the first time in 10 years, I went to bed and as soon as my head hit the pillow, I was out like that. And so the first time in 10 years, I actually have the confidence that there's nothing wrong with me or my ability to sleep, and that I can actually sleep. That's when the obsession, that's when the worry around sleep comes down. So that's your stabilizers now coming off the bike. Then you start doing things like restructuring your thought patterns when it comes to sleep. So I've got a lot on my sleep program, so sleepz.com, where you'll find the step-by-step, week-by-week sleep program, which has a 500-page booklet with it, with weekly articles. It's got videos, it's got email support. Check it out if you want to, if you really want to fix your insomnia and you've had it a long time. It's not expensive and it's going to be the thing that would do it. But yeah, you've got loads of other cognitive restructuring work techniques to help you change your thought patterns around sleep. So that's, your stabilizers are now off. Now you've got someone holding onto the back of your bike, giving you that support with changing your thought patterns. Then once you've been doing the work to change your thought patterns around sleep, to take away the anxiety, the obsession, the control, the worry, on a good CBTI program, you're then encouraged to let go of your sleep entirely, which also involves letting go of the CBTI course as well. So in a lot of times with CBTI, there's a lot of tracking around sleep, there's a lot of monitoring around sleep, which can reinforce the control around it. I personally don't like to use that, and I use sleep windows instead. But it's important when you're on a CBTI course to eventually let go of it entirely, because if you're stuck there, if you stay there, you've never actually really become free of your insomnia. So the answer of the question, yes, CBTI does get you in the initial stages to focus on sleep, but think of it as a stepping stone to what the eventual aim is. Think of it as something you need in the short term in order to get you to the end goal, but never think of it as the end goal itself. All right, really hope this video has been helpful, and I'll see you on the next one.